Gary and Amika, a father-daughter duo from Scotland, document their travels across Europe in their camper van. In a video posted in March 2023, they shared a pretty unsettling experience during a trip to Tentsmoor Forest in North Fife. While walking through the woods, Amika told her dad she could hear voices nearby. They started looking around, and what they eventually found was deeply unsettling.
We just stopped and had a look in these woods. Look at how scary that is. Put the torch on. Here's even one on the ladders.
Oh, there's someone lying on the ground.
Falling over. Look at the one on the ladders going up the tree.
Oh, yeah. That's
What about the washing line over there to the left? Yeah, there. Keep it there.
Along the trail, they stumbled upon a small cabin deep in the woods, surrounded by dozens of eerie mannequins dressed in costumes, along with creepy paintings hanging outside. After some digging, I found other YouTubers who had also come across the same cabin. The only info out there is that the mannequins and artwork were likely placed there sometime in 2021. No one really knows why, but whoever did it clearly put in a lot of effort to make it as unsettling as possible. As Gary and Amika were heading back to their van, a car started coming toward them from the other side of the trail. Gary got a little spooked, but thankfully, they made it out without crossing paths with the driver. Ian, a 30-year-old YouTuber, has been sharing vlogs and adventures for nearly a decade. Most of his content is light and fun, but one experience left him genuinely shaken. On January 18th, 2024, Ian uploaded a video recounting a disturbing night he had while stealth camping in a McDonald's parking lot in Palm Springs, California. For those unfamiliar, stealth camping is when someone sleeps in a car or tent somewhere they're not technically supposed to, trying to go unnoticed, often out of necessity. Ian had done it plenty of times before, even in rough weather like rainstorms and sandstorms, so a quiet parking lot didn't seem like a big deal. But that night took a turn. Just as he was drifting off in the back of his car, he suddenly heard someone outside, trying over and over to open his car door. He jumped up right away to see who was outside, and what he saw was unsettling.
What's going on, man? What's going on? What's up? What's up, man? What's going on? What are you doing? Hey, bro. What's up? What you doing, man? You ain't fucking weird, bro.
Even though he was panicking, Ian made the smart choice to stay in the car and quickly moved to a more hidden spot in the lot. But it didn't end there. Minutes later, he saw the same man wandering around like he was searching for Ian's car. Not wanting to take any chances, Ian drove off to a completely different location and thankfully made it through the night without any more issues. Still, one question stuck with him. Who was that guy and what was he really trying to do? Lisa is a life coach and YouTuber who shares what it's like living and traveling solo in her van. One afternoon, in 2022, while parked on the side of the road and cooking dinner, she left her van's side door open until things got uncomfortable fast. Out of nowhere, a sketchy-looking man walked up, stuck his head into her van without asking, and started speaking to her in French, a language Lisa doesn't understand. When she told him that, he pulled out a translation app and kept trying to talk, even though she clearly wasn't interested and already felt uneasy. After a few awkward minutes of him fumbling with Google Translate, Lisa had enough. She shut the van door in his face and pulled the curtain closed, hoping he'd finally take the hint.
He's trying to get my attention to come out, I suppose. So for a good hour, he drove his car and kept on parking it differently in front of my van, beside my van, but he kept on moving it and I was just creeped right out. I just thought this guy would take the hint and go away, but this went on for way too long.
Luckily, just as it was getting dark, a family in an RV pulled up and parked right behind Lisa, planning to stay the night too. Their presence made her feel safe enough to stick around. Strangely and disturbingly, the man left soon after the family arrived. But around 3 hours later, In the middle of the night, he came back. It looked like he was checking to see if Lisa was still there. When he noticed the RV family was still parked nearby, he left again and didn't return. Lisa got up early the next morning and left without seeing him again. It's hard to say exactly what his intentions were, but given his sketchy behavior, it's safe to assume they weren't good. One thing's for sure, if that family hadn't shown up when they did, things could have ended very differently. Grizzly Gaz runs a camping YouTube channel where he shares his adventures, hiking and camping across the UK with his French bulldog, Fendi. His videos often show him braving harsh weather and sometimes running into wild animals deep in the woods. In April 2023, Gaz uploaded a video of a solo camping trip in a remote UK forest. Everything started off as usual. He set up camp, chopped firewood, and Fendi hung out by his side. But as the sun went down, and Gaz was getting ready to cook a steak over the fire, something strange happened. Though it wasn't caught on camera, Gaz later explained that a random man wearing jeans and a coat wandered into his campsite and asked him for a beer and some food.
Right, we've got steaks on go now. Bit of ribeye, pot boiling for some mash, and I've got a visitor. Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. I shit me pants. This is Martin anyway. I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak,
just some random creep wandering about.
You went round here in a poncho a couple of months ago, were you?
I don't think I was. I could have been.
Even though the man didn't seem aggressive, it's still unsettling to be out in the middle of nowhere and suddenly have a stranger show up asking for food and a drink. Gaz said things got even weirder when, during dinner, he turned away for a moment to grab more firewood, and when he looked back, the man was gone. Concerned, Gaz set up a trail cam on a nearby tree to keep an eye on the area overnight, just in case the guy came back with bad intentions. It's tough to say if the man was just lost, maybe drunk, or if there was something more off about him. Either way, the whole thing left a bad feeling. On July 15, 2022, YouTuber The Abandoned Camper posted a video of her stealth camping in an old cemetery dating back to the 1800s. At first, everything felt pretty normal. She found a quiet clearing hidden in the overgrowth and started setting up camp. To kill some time before nightfall, she wandered around the cemetery with her camera. But that's when things took a strange turn. She suddenly started hearing what sounded like a group of kids screaming in the distance. She had assumed she was alone out there, but she was wrong. On her way back to camp, she spotted a group of kids in the distance. It seemed like they already knew she was there.
So if you can't tell, it's pretty dark here right now, but there are kids here, like young kids in the cemetery. And I'm wondering how active this place actually is. Do people come here at night and kind of party in the forest or something? Anyways, I'm heading back to my spot. That dog kind of ruined it. Not ruined it, I shouldn't say that. The dog barking, I didn't want to disturb anybody, especially since I'm not supposed to be here. So I think I'll finish my exploring tomorrow morning, and because there seems to be still a lot of stuff here. See? Hear them? I think they know I'm here. That's not good. Fuck.
Back at her hidden campsite, she started a small fire to cook some food, but that turned out to be a big mistake. Not long after the fire was lit, she started hearing voices and the sound of people walking toward her through the forest.
I just had to put out the fire because there are people walking around back here. They don't have headlamps on, but like I said in my last video, I do not like being around people in the middle of a forest, especially when it's dark out. So I might pack up and get out of here when I think the coast is clear.
It's still unclear what the kids were really up to and will probably never know. She made the smart call to avoid any risk, quietly packed up her gear, and got out of the cemetery as quickly and silently as possible.